That's a great question, Diana. On the toothbrush, would it be soft or medium bristles? I've used both. It doesn't really matter. How I even thought of an idea of a toothbrush, it's kind of random, is you guys, a lot of you guys know me from overseas and I travel a lot. So I was on an international flight. You know how they always give you the little kits with the toothbrushes? And I'm not in first class, but they do it for economy too. And I just put that toothbrush in my bag. I didn't need it, but I kept it. And when I was at the training, I think we were like in Japan, but anyways, when I was at the training, they couldn't find their brush for the VFR. So I started thinking, I'm like, oh shoot, we need something. And I was like, wait, I have that toothbrush in my bag. So I got that out and it was the best thing that ever happened because try to get my hair. Oh, I'm going to talk about like touching this area too. Because it has this handle, it's just so easy to scrub, but also the bristles are soft enough to be able to use it, which is great. So the reason why I told you that story is because now think of the toothbrushes that are given out on planes. They are not like this. They are horrible, really hard bristles, not soft at all. And it worked really well. It didn't scratch the electrodes. There was no issue there. And then I've tried a really, really soft brush, toothbrush, and it was too soft. Like I couldn't get all of the debris off. So I found that the cheaper they are, the better they are. I know that sounds crazy. I just looked at the time, it's 11:30. I told you it was gonna be an hour webinar. I always think this is gonna be short. I talk too much. But I just found the cheaper the toothbrush is, the better the bristles are because they're not too soft. So really the ones that you just order on Amazon, just a cheap like bulk pack will work great. A lot of these questions people unmuted and already asked. So I'm just reading through them right now. Okay, Susan is asked, when working in the jaw area, just overall like nerves in the area, also like around the eye, all those orbital nerves, would I recommend an actual block, like not just a topical numbing, but where you go in and you block the area? Think of that like in when you go to the dentist and you need work done on your teeth. They go in and they, with a injection, and they actually block the nerves in the area so you can't feel anything. They do that too for like lip fillers sometimes. I used to be a baby and ask for it for my filler and my nasolabial fold. Then I tried without it and I was fine. But no, we've never had to have an actual block done for the VFR. And you know, like I was cringing a bit in areas here, but it was not to the point where I couldn't sit through it with that numbing cream. You could do a block, but I really don't think it would be necessary. The jawline really isn't all that comfortable, uncomfortable. It's when you get around the eyes that's very sensitive, and you're always dropping your energy much lower around the eyes anyways. Because they don't need as much energy because it is thinner skin, more sensitive, much more sensitive skin. So you drop your energy and then they don't need it. But I mean, the block's not going to work with it. But yeah, no, the jawline, it usually isn't all that uncomfortable. How many passes are typical? One, we talked about that. Kara, I really don't know how to use the machine or even which machine to get. I think I need more beginner level lecture about which machine and which handpiece does what. What can I watch for that? Do you have that kind of lecture as well? Okay, so Natalia, yes. So we've been doing webinars for, gosh, how many weeks now, you guys? 4 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe even, maybe in 6 weeks. And the very first webinars I did for the first 4 weeks, I covered basics, just the overall didactic of every handpiece, except for the IndiYag, which we're doing next week. The IndiYag laser will be next week, didactic. So absolutely, you can go back onto Viora Online Academy and watch those and get an understanding of each handpiece, just the beginner didactic level. Okay, with all the RF treatments, we exclude patients with pacemakers. Does that also include wearable devices such as continuous glucose monitors, diabetics such as Freestyle Libre? Do those have to be removed? Well, they're going to be contraindicated anyways because they're diabetic. Now, if it's controlled diabetes, then it's okay. And if devices like that can be removed, then that should be okay as well. But that would be up to your, if you're the medical physician, up to your discretion, or if you're not the medical physician, it would be up to the medical director's discretion. If it's type 1 diabetes, I would just be very careful with that. Most of our percentage of the world diabetes is type 2, and that usually is very easily controlled, right, with even diet and exercise or medications. They can get that under control. If it's type 1 and they are insulin based, where they have to give themselves insulin, you know, before each meal, so on and so forth, that's a bit tricky because of their overall healing response. So it's contraindicated. So from Viora, we would say it's a contraindication, therefore shouldn't be doing the treatment. So I would just be very careful with that. Okay, I'm trying them out now. Antiage. Oh, Dermoscope has a fabulous webinar with Antiage. That's great to know. Cynthia, if you don't mind writing in. Okay, so Cynthia's trying out Antiage now, which is great. Their clinical person, I have yet to see their presentation and training, but I heard their clinical person is a fantastic educator, fantastic speaker, fantastic educator, and I would love to listen to them. And then she put, Dermoscope has a fabulous webinar with Antiage. So she put fabulous. So she probably knows how good they are at training. Cynthia, is this Cynthia?
He is amazing when he speaks on a scientific level about what the chenocytes are doing within your matrix of your skin. It blew my mind. I do have the number. I believe her name is Monica. They're located in Arizona.
Yeah.
I can type that. I can send that to you, or I can put it on here. I just have to look it up. They did send me a trial kit and a microneedling Antiage facial to try on myself. I haven't tried that yet, but I do like the line. I have an issue with smell, though. It does have a unique smell. And that was one of the questions I asked, because our clientele, you know, our clientele is very unique and they're very picky. So, but I would definitely recommend reaching out to them and watching the webinar on Dermoscope. It was fabulous.
Oh yeah, I heard great. Is it a male, a female? Monica is their educator, right?
The male, no. The educator is a male, but Monica
That's what I heard.
is the distributor.
Oh, okay, right. So I heard he was a phenomenal speaker. I've only spoke to the owners of Antiage, you know, partnering up. So I have yet to have the pleasure to hear him speak, but I heard like just rave reviews on him. So gosh, I love to learn. I love when I find amazing speakers, because it's just like, oh, you just want to soak up everything they know. So I'm super excited for that. I'll check out Dermoscope. Do they have like a website maybe that people could go to find the webinar?
Right now, Dermoscope, it's an online magazine. It also is for paper magazine, but you can go on there, and because of Corona, they're doing 6 months free for online. So you just go dermoscope.com and sign up, and they'll send you an email.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I was actually thinking about that, where their webinars are based, because I really wanted to learn during this time.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Gloss and aftershave is amazing also when it comes to wanting information about skincare lines, modalities. They have an app, and you can also go on lipstick or lip gloss and aftershave.com and look them up. They're fabulous.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. That's a cute name. Okay, let's see here. You are doing a fabulous job. Thank you so much for your efforts. You're welcome, Jade. It's so funny. When I do didactic, it's easy. I sit in front of you guys, I go through the workbook, I teach, and it's pretty simplistic in the form of a webinar. When I do hands-on, I'm always like, gosh, how is this going to turn out? So different. And especially when you're doing it on yourself, you're trying to teach perfect technique and you're not doing it right yourself because you're looking in a camera. So thank you. I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys learned something today and it helped. I pray all those recordings stay on website after COVID. Okay, so all of those webinars, you don't have to pray, because they will. I think though, we're gonna just put them on our customer portal. So we may just keep them on online, Viora Online Academy. If Donna's on, maybe she has some knowledge on that. But I do wanna create a tab on my Viora's customer portal for all webinars that we've done. Because on the customer portal, this is for our US customers, on the customer portal, you have all of those training videos anyways, and then a tab for the webinars just for additional training. If you guys are overseas, then you can contact your distributor, and then they can direct you to be able to watch those webinars, maybe after COVID, if we're not keeping the Viora Online Academy up, which I'm sure we will. If you are the distributor, then of course, you can contact Viora and we can help you with that. It was great, and you were funny too. Thank you. You kind of have to be. Laughing, you got to laugh at yourself when you're doing this kind of stuff to yourself. I always think, I don't know how these are going to go, but at least I'll get a good laugh. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. Appreciate that. So Cynthia just wrote in Monica, the salesperson for Entourage, so you can contact her, and then her phone number. So that's great. I'm actually, I have their products here as well, and I'm going to try out their stem cell product. I'm going to put that on over, when I'm done, over this, and then I'm going to put on the main thing that I put on after VFR. So we'll talk about that now. All right, so what to put on after VFR. Oh, okay, let me close the chat so I can see. Okay, so when I'm finished with all of this, of course I got to fill in this gap because I decided to move to the front, and then I got to finish the side of my neck, otherwise I'll look crazy and I'll only be half tight. So when I'm finished, I will take a glove, always a glove. By the way, if your clients are the type that you're doing the treatment and they are constantly lifting their hand up and touching their face, there's a lot of people that do that because they want to like tell you something like this area, or they just want to feel, or how many times do we touch our face a day anyways? It's thousands and thousands. So if they're the type that like to touch their face, or if you just want to be safe, put gloves on everybody before you start the treatment. Because if they take their hands and start touching that area that has just been treated, then we get into the risk of infection, which we don't want. We don't want that, obviously. So just put gloves on them and they're safe. You also need to instruct them of being mindful of touching their face when they leave. However, if they do, it's not as bad because you have this awesome barrier on. So when they do touch their face, their skin is still protected. So this is the biggest thing I can stress, because so many people, especially when I go overseas, they are using these thin moisturizers after, and it's just not good. And I have spent hours in different countries driving around to pharmacies trying to find you a real emollient-based product. So, and also like my long hair, when I'm finished with this, I'm going to completely pull it back from my neck because I don't want my hair in this either. Right when I said that, it's like, bling. I don't want my hair touching this area either. Okay, so this is my favorite product. It's very basic, and that's why I like it. You don't want to use a moisturizer. Why? Just because the moisturizer absorbs into the skin and there isn't a barrier for protection. And I'm going to talk to you guys about how they're going to wear this. So this is my favorite. It's so cheap, and it's a great line. It comes from a great line, Elta MD. It is so cheap. This huge jar will last for so long in your office. And if you sell them a big jar of this, it will last them through their whole course of treatment plus maintenance sessions. It takes a long time to go through this because a little bit goes a long way. So it is called, Elta MD. Let me see if the box picks it up better. There we go. Elta MD skincare. And this one's called Laser Balm. They have another one that's pretty much the exact same thing. I think it is the exact same thing. I think that they just created this one so people really knew that it was for laser, like post laser. Because the one that they had before that I used to order, I looked at the ingredients and I think it's the exact same, and it's a bit cheaper. So that one's called, it's still Elta MD. It still looks the exact same. It's still the same size. And that one is called Intense Moisture Hydration. I think I have that about right. Elta MD Intense Hydration Moisture, something like that. It's a really long word, but you'll find it. It's easy to find. It looks just like this. But this one's the Laser Balm. It was just a few dollars more, and I wanted to try it, but it's the exact same, so I just spent $2 extra. If you're going to carry this in your office, it's kind of nice that it says Laser Balm, so people really know that it's for post laser. Okay, so the big thing with this is the consistency of it, that it's viscous and it is thick and it's an actual barrier. It's not absorbing into my skin at all. It's not a moisturizer. I mean, it's a big time moisturizer. It keeps my skin very hydrated because we're really locking in all of the hydration, which is what we want. And that is how we properly heal. Why is it that if I did a VFR on my face and I did a VFR on my décolleté, why is it that my face would no longer have those matrix marks in 5 to 7 days, but my décolleté would still have them 3 weeks from now? And it's because of the amount of sebaceous glands that we have in our face compared to our body. Our face has a ton of sebum production, and it keeps your skin moisturized, right? That is the purpose of sebum, and it keeps it hydrated. And when it's hydrated, it heals faster. When it's not as hydrated, it takes longer to heal. So this is how we're able to heal much faster, but also very, very safely, is we're keeping this on and keeping everything extra, extra hydrated, but we're also keeping a barrier on the skin for 2 reasons. Keep out any type of infection, but also lock in that hydration. So the consistency of it, you probably are not going to be able to see this at all. Nope. It is a, it's like Vaseline. Let me show you. I'm not going to put it on my neck yet, just because I want to finish the treatment when I'm off camera. I'll show you. Ugh. So even if you carried like a line like Anti-Age and you use their like stem cell after, still contact L2MD and carry this, the post-laser balm, because you need this. Or you could just order it on Amazon for 12 bucks. Like, it's easy. But it's like Vaseline. That's the consistency of it, and that's what you want. So I'll show you here. Super thick. It's not going to absorb into my skin. I mean, I know I just put this on a glove, but if it was on my skin, it would not absorb. You can see it. That's what you want. It's not the funnest thing in the world to wear, but it is the safest thing. And I cannot stress that to you enough. Usually, you know, adverse events can happen when the operator is treating, but adverse events can happen at home and the way they take care of their skin. And most of the time, adverse comes from the patient not taking care of their skin properly. So this needs to be put on right after the treatment's done. They need to wear that for the first 24 hours, no makeup. They can cleanse their skin that evening, but then they put this right back on. So they're gonna need this at home as well. Then I recommend, if they can keep it on their skin, like on their face, let's say, for the whole week, that's great. Just cleanse their skin during the day, pop it on, or cleanse their skin in the morning, pop it on for the day, cleanse their skin at night, pop it on for the night. I always do recommend to take a very clean but old t-shirt that you don't care about and putting it over your pillowcase, because when the patient's sleeping, that consistency is going to get all over the pillowcase and it's a mess. So I always talk to them about try not to sleep on their face, try to sleep on your back, but sometimes we can't help it. So that pillowcase will just, or that t-shirt will help to not destroy your pillowcases. So even if they need to go to work and they need to put on makeup, they still should be wearing this. So what they can do is they can put this on after they cleanse in the morning. This is 24 hours after, because they cannot be wearing makeup within the first 24 hours. But after the first 24 hours, cleanse their skin, put this on, take Kleenex tissue, not toilet paper, but tissue, and dab it. And dab, 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 dab to get most of the shininess off, and then put their makeup on. As soon as they get home, cleanse your face, put it back on, and they'll sleep in it. If it's on the body, just tell them wear it like a lotion. You know, just constantly be putting it on. If it's the labia, they need to be putting this on every day as well, morning and night, and sometimes afternoon, because it wears off. Give them some gloves, or have them buy some gloves at like Walgreens, Walmart, wherever. Buy some gloves, and have them put the L2MD on, and then take a glove and place it over the labia, and that protects it and it keeps the moisture in, and then they can put on their underwear, because if they just put their underwear on after, then their underwear just kind of absorbs everything and it's messy. But this glove will create that barrier from their underwear and their labia, and it will just keep it kind of, you know, trapped in there, which is great. But you know, as they're using the restroom and using toilet paper and, you know, just everyday life, they're walking, they're sitting, anything that they're doing, it can then rub off, especially, you know, when they're using toilet paper. So having it like in their purse to reapply throughout the day is great. Actually, since I'm speaking of the labia, with the VFR, they need to avoid actually wiping when they use the restroom. They just need to tap, just kind of dab. Additionally, sexual intercourse should be avoided. I always recommend 2 weeks. Not everybody listens to me. They go against what I'm saying, but I highly stress at least a week. and I really advise 2 weeks. If they're acne prone and they're wearing this and they start breaking out because of it, then I tell them after the first 24 hours for all of their treatments, after the first 24 hours, then just wear it at night when they're sleeping. Don't wear it during the day, just at night when they sleep. And then that usually helps calm the breakouts. I get the question of, can I still use like my toners and tea tree oil and things like that? No, just be really safe. You use a gentle skin cleanser and pop this on. You know, you're not going to have an adverse when you're doing that, and you know they're going to heal properly when they're doing that. If you guys don't have a gentle skin cleanser or don't carry a line, I tell them to just go to Walgreens or just a normal pharmacy and get Cetaphil. I never know if I'm saying that right, Cetaphil or Cetaphil. And they have 2 types of facial cleansers. They have the daily facial cleanser, and then they have the gentle skin cleanser. That's what I use after all the treatments. And I have really great skincare lines that a lot of times are sent to me, so I have a lot. But I just prefer the Cetaphil Gentle Skin Cleanser just because I know it's so gentle. There's nothing in there that's going to create any kind of reaction to my skin. So that's what I use, and that's what I recommend. Nice and cheap, right? Both of these things are cheap. The Cetaphil Gentle Skin Cleanser and the Elta MD Laser Balm. They're both so cheap, like 14 bucks. Now, if you do not have the Elta MD, you're not going to get the Elta MD, you want something just really cheap and easy, this is what you can resort to. This works as well. Everyone knows this, Aquaphor. And guess what? This is, I love that they make them in these tiny tubes now, because this is what I bring to the Viora Academies. Because, I mean, it works, right? After. But let me get in here and see if this will register for everyone. The lighting's horrible here. Okay, so anyways, it's Aquaphor Healing Ointment Advanced Therapy. This is just a little tube of it. Usually it comes in like a big jar, like the Elta MD stuff. And it's also great to use. It's totally fine. I like the Elta MD better, but Aquaphor works as well. But what was I going to say on this? I was going to say something. I felt like it was important. Why is it you forget something, it always feels important, but it probably wasn't. Shoot. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Overseas, I will be overseas and I'll do a VFR and I'll ask for like their post emollient, and a lot of times they don't have one. So I immediately then go to a pharmacy to get Aquaphor. And a lot of the countries say, well, we don't have this, we don't carry this. And I always say, I bet you do. And I have found it in every country. It sometimes has taken me a couple hours to find it, but I found it in every country. So this is for you guys overseas. If you cannot order Elta MD, then this is something that you could get. Okay. In my VFR didactic, I went through the other post-treatment care guidelines, so I don't think I have to cover all of those right now. Let's look at the chat and see what other questions you guys have. This is cracking me up whenever I look at this. It's like a million Z's that I accidentally wrote. Let me erase it, so I don't actually send it to me.
Here, okay. You say that we could put the cream over PRP?
Oh, yeah. So you can use the PRP and then put the emollient on.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And by the way, that is because it's like, it's an ointment. It's an emollient, it's an ointment, it's not a moisturizer. Because it's an ointment, it's going to trap in the heat right after. And that's why I like to have ice around, just because it's not comfortable for them, to ice it down, calm it down, and then after a couple minutes, it starts to calm. So it's not like it traps it in for hours. However, they're probably going to be hot for a couple hours in general, even without that L to MD. So it's just nice to have ice. Any other questions? And remember, you can get the post-treatment care guidelines from us, Clinical USA at viorav-med.com. Let me pull it up. You guys can take a photo of it if you'd like. Let me share my screen really quick. Okay, so there it is, post-treatment care guidelines. I always go through this every single time I treat somebody. I mean, thoroughly go through it at the consultation or the first time you treat them. You don't have to read it like bullet point by bullet point every single time they come in. However, I always recommend I give them a copy of this every single time, because this is really the main handpiece for them to really take care of their skin after. Of course, like IPL too, you want them to wear sunscreen and not, you know, do crazy things. But this one, it's so important for their healing. So just make sure, give it to them every time, even if they say, no, I remember, it's okay, I'm just gonna give you a copy anyways. Just as a reminder, you know, you're wearing your emollient, you're not picking at the matrix marks, because I mean, it's like picking a scab, you can scar. You know, staying hydrated before the treatment, so important to be able to get a great result, because it is RF. Wearing high factor SPF 50 over their emollient if they're going to be going out in the sun. You know, no tanning, of course. I added an additional one at the very bottom. If you have a breakout, avoid picking or squeezing the skin lesion for at least a month, as this will result in petechiae, and it will. And it happened to me, so that's why I added it. I had done a treatment about 3 weeks after the treatment. I had a breakout. I went to squeeze it, and I immediately petechiaed, and it looked like I took the handpiece and I pulsed right there, right then. You know, even though we're looking and we can't see any more matrix marks on our skin, it looks like we're healed a week later, but we're not. You know, there's still so much healing going on deeper in the tissue. So just making sure that they're not picking or squeezing the skin in any way. And it walks them through what to expect after the treatment, you know, that they're going to have some heat, some edema, so on and so forth. So this is always a great thing to have. Any questions?
Kara?
Yes.
During the healing process, I would recommend also, because I'm a makeup artist, after they put on their last layer, they would do a primer and then their sunblock, because everything's healing, it's completely sealed, and then they're blocked.
Is this, you mean like that week after?
Like a week after. You could use any primer, silicone-based or methicone primer, and it'll seal in also, so it won't get any hyperpigmentation. It's just an extra layer that we do to make sure that there is no hyperpigmentation after.
Okay. But just remember just the healing ointment.
Yes.
Yeah. For the first. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much. Any other questions or advice? It's always so helpful for everybody on here, you know, like your guys' knowledge, your guys' you know, feedback on things. Let's see here. Hi, Kara. I emailed you the link Monica sent me about the anti-age. My email is. Ah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thank you for putting that information for everybody else too. So helpful. I can't wait to learn from him. I am really excited. Any other questions? I don't want to get off too soon. He's fabulous. Yay. It's always nice finding really, really amazing trainers and just learning. You know, within this industry, I guess within any industry, we will never know it all, ever, 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 which is what I love about it, is that we won't know it all. Therefore, we're always learning. And therefore, it's always staying exciting and we're never getting bored. You know, it's just, I think we're blessed to be in an industry like that. Your kindreds. Thank you. My kindred spirit. Oh, thanks so much. You were always fabulous. Great webinar. Oh, she said we're kindred spirits. Oh, I hope so. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, I guess it's getting kind of quiet. I really hope today was helpful. You know, by the way, the webinar's coming up, I just wanted to briefly discuss that, and our Instagram live that's coming up, just so you guys have even, obviously, more education, and that we continue to give you education constantly. So next week, we are doing the Indiag laser didactic. If you guys do not have the Indiag laser and just want to learn, then, you know, join us. Maybe it's a laser you may add to your practice in the future. You never know. So that's going to be next week. And then additionally, I don't know the exact days, but of course you can check VioraOnlineAcademy.com. Additionally, we are doing hands-on, and I'll be with Heather. So that's going to be really nice. So Heather and I are both going to be doing hands-on. She's going to go to her med spa. I'll be here. And we're kind of splitting the duties so we can help each other. So for her, she'll do the plump RF on herself, and I'll be discussing what she's doing. I'll do the eyes on myself, and her and I will be discussing what I'm doing. So it'll be very, very helpful. So a lot of hands-on that we'll be doing in the next coming weeks. And then we'll do Indiag hands-on. Oh, and I'm really excited about this. We're going to be doing a virtual event, and we're going to be pretending like you guys are our clients from our med spa, and you'll just kind of sit back and witness how to do a virtual event right now. And even when you open back up, you're probably not going to be jumping into an event right away, right? So you can then hold this virtual event for your clients to still get them excited, still get them involved, still get them, you know, purchasing things that they may need. So we'll be doing that as well. And then today at 6 p.m. Eastern, so 6 p.m. New York time, we will be doing Cocktails with Kara again on Instagram Live. I will just have a very red neck. I'll be a redneck. And we have a special guest who is specializes in social media. So what you can be doing now on your social media to really get engagement if you feel like you're lacking in engagement, and what you could be doing in the future, just when this is all over, how to continue getting engagement and how to continue perfecting your social media platforms. So I'm super excited for that today, Instagram Live. Cocktails with Kara. So I hope you guys all can join us. If you're joining us right now from overseas, you'll probably be sleeping. But if you're not, join us and ask questions. We love when you guys write in and ask questions, just like I love it on the webinars too. All right, you guys, thank you guys so much. Thank you for sending all the thank yous. And I will see you today or next week. And I think that's it. So you guys stay safe, stay healthy, of course, stay inside, and have a fantastic weekend. If you guys have the ability to get outside, get some fresh air, enjoy yourselves. Oh, by the way, you guys, I gotta tell you this really quick before we sign off. I purchased roller skates. They're coming today, they're arriving today. I have not roller skated since I was 16. So if I end up in a full body brace next week and you see me with a cast on, this is due to roller skating. I'm going to try to be very safe. I'm so excited. So I'm going to skate outside, get some fresh air. But enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.